coming with us.
It's gonna be okay, I promise!
Do you think Daddy's okay?
Are you ready, Jake?
After committing another crime, a gangster named Mick hides from the police in a dark alley. Severely injured and bleeding, he knows he must stay hidden, aware that several officers are chasing him. Just as death seems certain, a mysterious stranger dressed in black appears before him. This necromancer, with great power and magical abilities, offers him a chance to live. But there's a catch. He must become the necromancer's servant. With no other choice, the criminal agrees, unaware that he's now bound to a force determined to destroy the world. When the police arrive at Mick's hiding spot, they find only a terrifying bloodstain on the wall and a portal to another dimension. Chaos, fire, destruction, blood, and thousands of dead bodies paint a bleak picture of humanity's new reality. Many are forced to hide, but the demons hunt relentlessly, aiming to kill and take souls to send them to hell. For now, this isn't real, it's a vision from Chan, a monk with a special gift. He senses that soon his vision will come true, and he knows only one person can stop it. Determined to act, Chan heads to Bangkok, where fate says he must find the chosen one. Jake is an average American who married a Thai woman named Prang several years ago. He used to be a police officer, but Prang often told him he was too focused on work. He quit to spend more time with his family, but his new job still takes up most of his time. The couple flies to Bangkok for a vacation to spend time with her daughter, Lou, and visit Prang's mother. But Jake can't stop checking his phone, constantly messaging his colleagues. Every moment he spends is for his team, not his wife or daughter, causing another argument. Trying to make up for it, Jake promises to change and kisses Prang. In that moment, they realize Lou has gone missing. Panic sets in as they search the entire market and nearby streets, eventually spotting her on a bridge with a strange man. The man is a monk who knows far too much about Jake. He warns the former cop that he is the foretold guardian, born under a blood moon to a mother who died during childbirth. Soon, Jake will lose everything, but he has the power to find light in the darkness, saving not only his loved ones, but all of humanity. Thinking Chan is simply mad, the family walks away, unwilling to listen to his warnings about the impending horror. Before heading to Prang's mother's house, the family decides to have lunch at a mall cafe. Spending time with his daughter, Jake buys her chocolate ice cream, and Pinky swears that he will change how he treats Prang and Lou. Meanwhile, Mick appears in the mall, acting disturbingly erratic. Spotting Prang and Lou nearby, the criminal loses all sense of reason and opens fire on people on the first floor. There's no logic or plan. It's pure terror, a senseless act of extreme brutality. Women, children, and security guards trying to stop him become innocent victims of his rampage. Hearing the shots, Jake is the first to understand what's happening and rushes to his family. Frank pleads with him to protect her and Lou, but the former cop feels he's needed to help others as well. He instructs his family to find shelter and, if possible, leave the mall and wait in their hotel room. Lou begs her father to return at any cost, and she and Prank hide in a public restroom on the second floor. Police arrive at the scene. A few officers enter the building, but Mick immediately shoots them down. Realizing the situation, the police shift their strategy, prioritizing evacuation. Knowing that the remaining civilians are hostages, they surround them all and wait for the special forces. Mick notices a small doll near one of his victims, picks it up, and talks to it as if it were a person, all while Jake is closing in from behind. Acting quickly, Jake grabs a gun from a fallen security guard and orders Mick to surrender, but Mick mocks him, unafraid of being shot. The terrorist fires at Jake, then kills an innocent girl hiding nearby. Negotiations prove useless, so Jake fires multiple times, mortally wounding Mick. At that moment, another officer enters the building to arrest him. Before he dies, Mick says he wasn't there by chance and had been waiting for the Guardian. But then, instead of dying, he starts glowing from the inside like a living bomb, and a terrifying explosion follows. Right after, a strange fire spreads across Bangkok as if something or someone has escaped. Later, Jake and the officer wake up. They are confused and unsure what happened, but they remember the explosion. However, they can't find Mick's body or the victims. The mall looks different, darker, and emptier than before, but the two men share one goal: to survive. There's old blood on the floor, deepening the mystery, but they spot a survivor, offering a chance for answers. Jake moves carefully while the officer approaches a store clerk with a big knife. As he gets close, the possessed woman attacks him violently. She then turns on Jake. He shoots several times, but the entity can't be killed with regular bullets. Using whatever he can find, Jake manages to stun her and tries to escape. A moment later, she rises again, chasing him relentlessly relentlessly. Jake hides in a clothing store, but the entity climbs the ceiling to move faster and track him more easily. Every time he tries to hide, the possessed woman attacks again, barely letting him escape. Jake rushes to the restroom on the second floor, where Prang and Lou are supposed to be hiding. The room is completely empty, but Jake holds on to the hope that they are safe. When the knife-wielding clerk attacks again, the former cop uses a rope to tie her up, securing her to a wooden beam. A little while later, he sees the same woman again, but this time she doesn't attack. She notices a bloody hole in the wall and steps into it, disappearing from view. Jake leaves the mall, thinking his wife and daughter are waiting at the hotel as he walks through the bus parking lot. Strange sounds make him crouch for cover, trying to avoid another monstrous encounter. Unfortunately, the entity finds him anyway. A 100-meter-tall skeleton made of bones, metal, blood, and fire appears. The giant destroys everything in its path, chasing Jake relentlessly, forcing him to hide and run again. At one point, Jake realizes he's trapped and probably going to die. The skeleton is just a few meters away, ready to kill him. Suddenly, an unknown figure opens a door and offers him shelter. Inside the cell, Jake finds out the figure is the kind monk Chan. Seeing that Jake has many questions about the chaos, Chan decides to explain everything. They are now in the Borderlands, a special place between life and death, like purgatory. It's where people who have died stay until they let go of the past or make amends. The 100-meter skeleton is an executioner, hunting these people and taking their souls to hell. Chan reveals that Jake has become part of a ritual that opens the gates of hell. By killing Mech, the Guardian, Jake unknowingly committed a terrible act, and only he now has the power to stop the apocalypse. What has happened so far is just a small crack, but if it isn't sealed, the gates will fully open and darkness will take over the world. Behind it all is a powerful magician and necromancer. Chan's father, who stole forbidden scrolls long ago, gained immense power. He lost his human form and wanted to take over Chan's body, but Chan's mother saved him by killing her husband. This gave Chan the ability to see the future and live in multiple worlds at once, since only the dead can stay in the Borderland. From Chan's story, the thing that shocks Jake the most is that he is already dead. He wants to find his family, but Chan tells him he must fulfill the destiny that was set for him. Jake agrees, ready to close the gates of hell, as long as the monk helps him find his wife and daughter. On the way to face the necromancer, Jake hears a girl screaming, trapped on a rooftop, surrounded by monsters. Chan tells him not to waste time on a lost cause, but Jake can't ignore it. He rushes to her rescue, using a metal pipe to knock out several scary creatures. Face to face with the girl, Jake realizes she is the last victim of Mech's rampage. She's stuck between worlds, unable to forgive herself for cheating on her boyfriend with his best friend. Jake promises to protect her, but before he can act, the giant appears and kills her brutally, sending her soul to hell. After the explosion at the mall, Krang realizes she and her daughter need to get out of the building as quickly as possible. She finds what looks like a safe exit, but instead of help from the police, they face something terrifying. People are possessed by demons and are attacking everyone with no mercy. They kill people without stopping, even hurting those who are crying or begging for help. The victims include police officers, businessmen, rescuers, and even regular housewives. Everyone is fighting each other in a brutal way. Realizing the outside isn't safe either, Krang and Lou go back to the mall. In one store, Krang sees a possessed person hitting a dead body against the table. Trying to stay hidden, mother and daughter attempt to sneak past, but it's impossible. Protecting her daughter, Krang hits the possessed person with a mannequin and then grabs his hand to finish him off. As they go down to the next floor, Krang finds herself on an escalator. She is surrounded by more possessed people, and she uses the mannequin to fight them off, knocking several out and saving Lou from someone trying to strangle her. Soon, mother and daughter find an emergency exit and manage to get outside. They realize their only goal is to reach the hotel and wait for Jake to come back. They spot a bus and hope to use it for evacuation, but a possessed person attacks the driver and kills him in a brutal way. Chaos erupts around them as people fight the possessed and sometimes each other. Trying to avoid the madness, Krang and Lou run several blocks before hiding in a supermarket. They try to stay quiet and call their grandmother, but there's no signal. Krang decides to check the store's landline and walks toward the counter, where the cashier's body lies. At that moment, a possessed person enters the store, scans the aisles, and spots Lou, who is cornered and about to be killed. Lou is saved when Krang uses the cashier's bat to knock the possessed person out with a blow to the back. Escaping once again, mother and daughter head to the bus depot, looking for transport. The possessed chase them, but quick thinking and agility help them avoid unnecessary fights that could hurt them. At one point, Lou spots a bus with uninfected people and runs toward it with her mother to hide. Several passengers are scared but happy to get as far away as they can. Even though the keys are in a bag nearby, nobody dares to go outside for them because they fear for their lives. So, Prank decides to take on the job. She moves carefully and gets the bag, only to be attacked by 2 possessed people. One man tries to help her but ends up sacrificing himself and dies. The bus then heads to another part of the city, but it stops because of a bridge accident. With no way to keep moving, Prank and Lou have to walk to the hotel. Inside, they face more possessed people. To protect Lou, Prank uses a luggage cart to push the monsters away, keeping them at a distance. When they finally reach their hotel room, they look out the window and see the apocalypse has officially started. The city is covered in chaos, blood, and fire. After everything that happened, Jake feels completely hopeless. He realizes he's dead and can't go back to the living world. His family has lost him, and that can't be changed, causing him to lose faith in himself and his mission. Jan insists that death isn't the end and now Jake must do everything he can to find me. Time is running out because Mike is in the real world and is a direct threat to his family. The best way to stop the necromancer's helper is to return to the living world, but for that, they need a portal. On the way, Chan and Jake face hundreds of monsters, including Winged Demon. The monk fights them easily to protect the traveler, eventually bringing Jake back to life. It seems like the horrors are over until Jake looks in the mirror and sees a completely different person looking back at him. He can't return to his original body, so Chan moves his soul into that of a dead local police officer. But the worst part isn't just that Mech has taken over Jake's body to gain his family's trust. At the hotel, Mech sneaks into Pring and Elle's room without them knowing that the man before them is just a shell holding a foreign soul. In his interactions, he is harsh, rude, and disrespectful, though Prang naively thinks it's just stress. Before facing Mech, Jake is given a flintlock rifle and a special knife made from a 9-metal alloy by Chan, the only weapons that can hurt the necromancer and his loyal servant. Knowing his family is in danger, Jake runs to the hotel, but the room is empty except for the terrifying burnt doll used during the mall attack. Jan finds a note that shows the necromancer's future plans, and Jake sees his wife and daughter by the pool below. Going downstairs, Jake meets Prang and Lou, but they see a Thai police officer with a bullet in his chest and think he's another demon-possessed victim. Mech takes over Jake's body and attacks him, starting a brutal fight. During the struggle, Mech pretends to be a loving husband and father, causing Jake more pain and torment. He accuses Jake of neglecting his family and failing to fix anything, reminding him that he's already dead and can't be with his loved ones. In the fight, Jake loses the rifle, and both he and Mech fall into the pool. Prang picks up the rifle but hesitates to shoot. Jake, in another body, tries to explain that she must shoot her husband's body, but she doesn't know who to trust. He shows Louis Pinky, reminding her of their cafe promise, and she realizes her father's soul is in another body. Still, Prang makes a fatal mistake, trusting her eyes over her heart, and kills the real Jake. Immediately, Mech reveals his true form, forcing Prang and Lou to follow him into a blood-filled tear in the wall, leading to another world. Jake wakes up in Chan's cell in the borderland. Knowing the necromancer's goals and location, they head to an ancient castle where the gates of hell could be opened permanently. Jake, now in a stronger body, attacks the building, where the necromancer plans to sacrifice his daughter to complete a dark ritual using their shared blood. Courageously and a little recklessly, Jake kills the necromancer's minions, blocking his path. As Jake takes out almost everyone, Mech attacks again, trying to send Jake's soul to hell. Meanwhile, Prang gets the rifle and shoots the necromancer in the hand to stop him from killing her daughter. Mech proves resilient and wounds Jake, but Prang, finally recognizing her husband, hands him the rifle so he can kill Mech. Once the necromancer's servant enters the borderlands, a 100-foot flaming skeleton eats him and drags him to hell. The necromancer tries to stop his son. Chan says he can't use violence, but is ready to do anything to stop his crazy father. At that moment, Jake attacks the enemy from behind. Before dying, the necromancer reveals that the only way to close the gates of hell is for the guardian to go through them and sacrifice himself. Jake realizes he will die and might never come back to his family. He spends a few precious minutes with Lou and Prang, promising to find a way back to the living world. With a pinky promise, Jake goes into hell and closes the gates. The world returns to normal, and Prang and Lou reunite with their grandmother, thinking the nightmare is over. But later, a mysterious woman arrives at the sealed gates. Her goal is the same as the necromancer's, to reopen them, meaning the battle between good and evil isn't over. Subscribe to watch more videos like this, leave a comment about your favorite movie, and we will make it next. Thanks for watching.